is Chef Swole, and we are on a mission to defeat Elden Ring from start to finish using all 411 unique weapons that the game has to offer. Today's weapon is the Curseblade Circus, and they are recommended by Long John over on YouTube. If you have a weapon that you want to see, put it in the comments below, and when we do your weapons video, we'll shout you out in the intro. Now that we have the weapon out of the way, we're going to go into a breakdown of the optimal starting class, what stats you should upgrade, and in what order, are there any soft caps, hard caps, etc. From there, we will transition into a full breakdown of the build, including the talismans, any weapons, any builds, etc. From there on out, we'll transition into a fight scene with all of the 14 required bosses that are necessary to become the Elden Lord. And in those boss fights, we will have a voiceover where I talk about the specific strategies that we implemented to defeat each of the boss using the Curseblade Circus. Finally, we're going to end with a tier list where we will rank the Curseblade Circus on a scale of S tier, A tier, C tier, D tier, or broken straight sword tier against all other weapons we have beaten the game with thus far. So without further ado, let's get into the build. The optimal starting class for the Curseblade Circuits is the Warrior starting class because the Curseblade Circus requires 9 strength and 22 dexterity in order to wield it. This class brings us in at 10 strength, so we're good to go there, and the highest possible starting dexterity of 16. Your first 5 levels, you're going to want to level this up. First 6 levels until you get to 22, and then you're going to be good to go wielding your Curseblade Circus. From then on out, once you have the ability to wield the weapon, you want to pump up this vigor. 11's not going to do it. Get it up to 30 for the base game. And just the survivability from the start. From there, we want to work on our endurance a bit. Go ahead and get it up to 15 if you're running armorless like we did to keep light rolling, or if you want to wear armor, you can get it up to 20. I'd recommend 15. From there, we're actually getting to increase our mind. We're going to be using our Ash of War quite a bit with this weapon. So pump in some work into mind, and let's get that up to 20, which is the soft cap before you start losing a trade-off of getting FP back per level up of mine. From then on out, we're going to keep pumping our dexterity. The dexterity is the primary damage dealer. So we're going to get that to 22 and keep pumping it up all the way until you get to 45. From then, we're going to get our vigor to 50 for late game survivability, and any remaining points we want to get to dexterity until that hits 60. Once it hits 60, get your strength up to 20, which is going to give you a hard cap for the ability to upgrade your damage with your weaker one. And from then on out, we want to pump anything remaining into dexterity. Now that we've gone over the optimal starting class, the stats, when to upgrade them, where to stop, and in what order, let's head to the build. Now that we've gone over a breakdown of the optimal starting class and how to level that class to maximize the use of our Curseblade Circus, let's go into a breakdown of the build itself. So the Curseblade Circus is a somber weapon, so you can get it to +9, and because it is a DLC weapon, meaning it is very late game, if you are doing a playthrough from start to finish when using this weapon, we're going to assume that you are a New Game Plus or above because it is a very late weapon, so that will mean we have access to the weapon fully upgraded, all armor and talismans, as well as all of these psychic flasks. So for the build, we see the Curseblade Circus comes in with a B scaling in dexterity and an overall damage output of right around 500 when fully upgraded. It is a backhand blade weapon, which is one of the new DLC weapon classes, with a unique Ash of War called Deadly Dance, which does a bunch of hits all at once, followed by an optional follow-up slam, dealing a significant amount of poise damage. Because the Ash of War does so many consecutive hits, and in cups with that, we have a very fast overall moveset with the backhand blades. The best way to utilize this weapon is with a consecutive hit build as such. The first 2 talisman slots, we are going to have the Rotten Winged Insignia and Millicent's Prostate, which is going to increase our attack whenever we get consecutive hits, including when we use that impressive Ash of War. This is going to stack with our first psychic tier, the Thorny Crack tier, which is going to further boost that attack damage whenever there are consecutive hits, which there will be many. Next tier, we have the stamina recovery tier, which is the green burst tier, and this is going to give us much needed stamina recovery, because when we use this Ash of War, you will notice when we're using it actually in attacking, that it is a significant amount of stamina being used, and because this weapon relies on so many consecutive hits, we want to be able to hit a lot, dodge, hit a lot, dodge, really maximizing its dexterity based routes. Next up, we've got the Ritual Sword Talisman, meaning we're at full health. This is going to do even more damage, 10%. And last talisman slot, we do have the Dragon Curse Great Shield, because there will be times when we want to trade hits in order to get off a big chain of attacks. For armor, all we have on is the White Mask, because the Curseblade Cirque does have an 8 build, about 45 build up, and whenever it procs, we will get an additional 10% boost. Now that we've gone over the build, let's take a look at how it looks against a random NPC like the White Mask. You'll go ahead and pop your Psychic Flask, and you'll go ahead and use this very impressive Ash of War. You see just a couple hits here, and he is out before he even gets a chance to blink. With DLC Talisman, it gets an incredible boost. The weapon is amazing. The consecutive hits let it deal so much damage. And for bosses that have a bit more health, when that bleed procs, it's going to be devastating. So now that we've gone over the breakdown of the build and seen an example of it in action, let's see how it performed against New Game Plus, starting with the first boss, Margit. When fighting Morgott, you are going to get a free window right from the start. So you want to get about 10 units or save from him, activate your Ash of War, and enjoy your free damage as the build really starts to take into effect. Here we are testing the overall range of it, and you do want to get a bit closer than we got a couple of those times, but you can see even with us missing a few of the attacks of this Ash of War, it only took 2 for him to get to half health. So we dodged to his Hammer Hurl at the start of the second phase, and even though we absorb one of the Holy Blades and we get staggered out of our 4th dance, our 5th one does the charm. Morgott is down. We had no problem trading with him. Overall difficulty, a 2 on 10. Now that we learned some of the limitations of the distance of this Ash of War, we're going to be a little bit closer when we activate it. Here we see we're able to get a big hit off on Godrick, much more than on the Morgott hit, and start stacking up that consecutive hit damage as well as the bleed buildup. Now, when he does this attack where he starts kind of staggering around and doing a bunch of consecutive attacks, you don't want to punish that, so rather wait till after the final slam, like thus, and enjoy your free window of opportunity, followed up by another one as he's chopping off his arm. And at the start of second phase, you are in prime position to finish the fight before he finishes his first attack, which is that flamethrower attack. So for difficulty, since he did get to second phase, it can't be a true 1 on 10. However, if we can finish him up before the flamethrower attack finishes, which we don't, that's what gets us the 2. From here on out, it's just, hey, how fast can we get this boss off in order to finally get the W? We get it off. He gets a chance to get off 2 attacks, meaning he gets a difficulty rating of just 3 on 10, which is still very good for the Curseblade Cirque. Let's see how it performs against the Academy bosses, the Red Wolf and Rennala. The Red Wolf is one of our first glass cannon bosses. Before we get into the fog wall, you want to spam your Psychic Flask. Make sure we're at full health. And as we enter, we're thinking, hey, after these sword slams, that is a free window of opportunity to potentially hit our Ash of War against this boss. We're going to check it out right here as we see what attack he is going for. And we are just going to bait him out, not charging him. We do get the sword slam, allowing us to dodge through it and get off a free Ash of War. We can ideally dodge to that or tactfully miss just for a quick damage check, vigor check, and the rest of it. Heal back up and then make sure to get off another Ash of War here. We are getting a couple of frames dropped in this fight. That issue will be fixed in future boss fights. It was just temporary at the start of this run, the first couple of bosses. That being said though, whenever you get that Red Wolf in a big window, such as we did there, you see the bleed proc, you see the damage go off. Because we did get hit a few times, the difficulty scale won't be a true 1 on 10. Ends up clocking in at a 3. Let's head upstairs to Rennala. So with Rennala phase 1, in order to try to get that ideal 1 on 10 difficulty, during first phase, after we bop her 3 minions with a light up bubble on their head. We need to take her out in one shot before she gets back up in her cocoon. Let's see if this weapon is able to do that. As we tactfully miss the enemy a couple times, she's going to be landing right in front of us, and you want to time your Ash of War to get off a big hit right when she lands. So we are able to get a big hit. So we take it a little bit of time to line her up. We get her almost done, and then we get a quick third times the charm, heal back up, and get ready for the start of phase 2. Now, when phase 2 starts, we're going to be far away from her, so you're going to want to close the distance since it's a very short range weapon. So right when it starts, as she's charging her hyper beam attack, and again, excuse the frame drop since it does get fixed after this boss fight in this run, we're able to come up and get a whale of a combo off. That takes away 2/3 of her health in a single devastating combo. She does get a chance to summon. We'll get away from that summon, dodge some magic, chase her down as she runs away like a coward. And unfortunately, we do get the RNG where she runs up inside of her moon. No worries, though. She is delaying the inevitable because the Curseblade Cirque is an absolutely devastating weapon against this boss. From you can see on that first hit, the summons aren't going to hit her, even if they temporarily delay the inevitable. We're going to chase her down, activate that Ash of War. The consecutive hits go up. The summons bite us. We fight them off. We get stun locked again. She's one hit. We heal up. There's a dragon coming. Can we get to it before the fire? She runs away, but we, due to the Ash of War, get carried past the fire. Finish off the main queen. She did evade that last hit for a long time, but we're not going to penalize the weapons for that easy W. The difficulty with Rennala using the Curseblade Cirque is a true 2 on 10. I was very optimistic that your Dramatic Tree Sentinel would be quite an easy boss, being that it does stay still for the first part of the fight, allowing us to spam our Ash of War. However, as we will see here, that was not necessarily the case. Phase 1 does not necessarily go according to plan, as we do not even proc a Blood Bleed, despite hitting it with 3 Ashes of War. Still, though, I'm confident that the boss is close to a Blood Bleed, so we are going to try to hit it if we get any window of opportunity to use it again. Part of the weakness of this weapon as a whole is visible here. The Ash of War is definitely really tough to get off because there's no hyper armor behind it, meaning you get hit freely almost every time you use it. And when you don't proc that bleed, as we see right there, you leave your safe open to a whale of punishment. We barely get out to this in one hit. Still, though, he is at about half health, but I have learned from the start to the fight that we're just going to have to play this boss fight a bit more patiently than we first anticipated. This is not going to be the first time that we get surprised with this weapon, saying we're going to stay close, and instead of continuously only spamming the Ash of War, you notice there we throw in a light attack, tactfully miss a hit, which Amos one-shots us, and we will heal back up to full as we dodge through the lightning attack. The key to dodging that lightning attack is right when the shield starts to lower. That is when you will roll to one side or the other side, guaranteeing that you dodge the attack. Here we again mix it up, and we are mixing then now our rolling attacks. We see a quick recovery, and although we get one and we're not able to get a second hit in before we get punished quite immensely yet again, dodge that attack again right when that shield lowers. Easy enough there, but now we know our windows where we can get hit and where we have to avoid it. So we're going to dodge through that attack, and tactfully gets hit, leaving us with just 1 HP remaining. We'll get back up to full, we'll dodge the fireball, and from here on out, you're going to have to play very, very patiently because our buffs from the Psychic Flask are getting very close to wearing off. So dodge through the lightning attack, dodge the follow-up, gets off a couple of attacks, and finish off the Dramatic Tree Sentinel. Much more difficult than I thought that it would be. The blood procs are few and far between, with this weapon being that it's set low at 45 only. The difficulty rating of the Dramatic Tree Sentinel with the Curseblade Cirque ended up being a 7 on 10. Let's head up to the capital to our first boss of the run that does not bleed, Godfrey the Ghost. So right off the bat, this boss, I have a feeling, is not going to be one where we can use our Ash of War. We will see if there's any windows to do so, but you see his recoveries and punishes are so fast that really and truly we're not going to have much time to do it. So we decide, let's start off this fight with some roll attacks, some quick attacks, and find some guaranteed windows to hit this boss, which is working very effectively at a start. One of those windows is going to be that jump attack there. When he jumps away from us, you want to jump over his stomp, with a jump attack of your own that will allow you to simultaneously dodge his attack while punishing him and get set up for a quick recovery. We do it again there, dodge to his punish, dodge to that punish, finish him off with a light attack. And this is when we start to cooking up the idea of, hey, maybe this could be a great weapon. That boss didn't even bleed, but the consecutive hits with just the light attack, not relying as much on the Ash of War, was extremely effective. We're going to utilize that strategy for bosses from here on out. The overall difficulty rating of the Gaze of Godfrey with the Cirque Curseblades clocked in at only a 3 on 10. Let's head up to the Capital's throne room and meet the king, Margit. Long time no see, you omen weasel. Morgott is here and in the trainer, and we want to start off the fights by hitting him with the light attack. We do unfortunately have to trade, so from here on out, we're going to try to be a bit more careful of our windows of attack. One of those windows are going to be when he utilizes his holy weapons. Almost every weapon with a holy attack gives you a window to attack the boss, including right there when he procs his Swords of Revealing Light, allowing us to punish him for a bleed build and get his health to just 25% remaining. We want to dodge through his Cursed Blood, and as you can see, with a running dash attack, we are able to finish him off. We do not apparently need the Ash of War with this weapon. It is nice to aura farm with, but as far as actually boss fights, this weapon is just fine utilizing the consecutive hits, the light attacks, giving you more flexibility to dodge incoming punishes and continue your combos. The overall difficulty of the Omen King with the Curseblade Circus only cracked in at a 3 on 10. Let's head upstairs to the mountaintops of the Giants and see how it performs against the Fire Giant. The Fire Giant is one of the hardest bosses in any run, but when you are utilizing a bleed weapon, you're going to have a good time because whenever these blood procs prop, they will take away a percentage of his health instead of you chipping away at his massive hit point and high defenses. That being said, he actually got us on the first try with a stray fireball that exploded. So we'll go over that a bit more in second phase, and you want to make sure and set off his fireball trackers whenever he sends them out so they don't come back to haunt you. Still though, for first phase, we want to target his left leg at the Achilles, left leg, or as you're looking at him, it'll be his right leg, and you want to stay on him utilizing your quick attacks to proc your consecutive hit talisman. And when you have a long window, definitely when he's not uphill, you want to be able to pop that Ash of War. So right here, we're able to get it, and we're able to start wailing on him with our quick attacks, and you can just see the damage output when you're able to just sit there and wail on him. Pretty significant. And then we see one of the weaknesses of this weapon in that short reach as we miss the follow-up jump attack. Still though, follow-up is roll true as he activates his mini second phase before he gets into his true second phase. And you see our buff being activated from these consecutive hits. He is just about there to second phase already, just from that punish. So hop on your horse, follow him down if he rolls away from you, and stay on that leg. Again, we are looking at the left leg right as you're looking at him, and we want to continue these punishes until he gets into half health, where he will transition to second phase. Once second phase starts, he's going to lower his hands down, and you want to find one hand. I like the left hand, and you want to just start wailing on it because this hand's very weak. Oftentimes you can get a blood proc, and it looks like we barely miss out on it here. No worries. We will make sure and get rid of these tracking fireballs like we mentioned at the start of the fight as soon as he puts down, so you don't end up getting popped by one from behind later. Never fun to get popped from behind. So when he does this AoE attack where he throws volcanic rocks into the air, hop on your horse right away from him and then starts charging him as the rocks come down. Dodges fireballs, hop off, and a lot of people will tell you, hey, the Fire Giant, what are you doing? He is weak on his hands. That might be true, but when you're using bleed weapons like we're using, you don't have to worry about going for a weak point, because as long as you get the attacks off, as long as that is happening, you are going to eventually proc a bleed, which is going to knock out a huge chunk of his health all at once. You don't need to worry about doing the most damage whenever bleed procs, as you saw there. And just like that, this boss is seemingly one sequence away from getting finished. So right there, he did decide to proc his tracking fireballs, which we set off en route to his last hit. Fire Giant goes down. We did get an unlucky death at first, but honestly, that had nothing to do with the weapon and far more for us not paying attention to setting off the fireball trackers. So we're not going to penalize too much for one death. The overall difficulty rating of the Fire Giant with the Circus Curseblades ends up coming in at a 4 on 10. Let's head upstairs to the Atlas Plateau. So once we're in the crumbling Pharmazuka, not the Atlas Plato, we have the Godskin Duo as the first boss to take on. And as always, you want to start off the fights by getting them separated. And so you want to run away, and I like to target the ranger one first. Now, with the Curseblade Circus, the Ash of War is going to be too long to really get off and punish. So we're going to go with some lighter attacks, proc and bleed, and being ready to get out of there, such as in that sequence. Now, another thing that we can do with this weapon is use its running heavy attack, because we actually get off a total of 2 hits with it. And because we have 1 weapon in each arm, 2 hits is really a total of 4, letting us really punishing the bosses, as you see there in that sequence. We're almost able to follow it up with another one, but he does get a transition into second phase. So when fighting the Godskin Duo with the Curseblade Circus, your running heavy attack is going to be, one of your optimal moves there. And as far as trying to get him on an attack here, when he's behind the pillar, I wouldn't recommend it, as he's going to hit you, and it's really just not worth the trade when doing that. So just try to be patient, unlike what we did right there. As you see here, we're able to follow it up with 2 of our heavy running attacks, getting off those attacks and finish him off. We do take the fireball, but because he's finished off, we have a true one-on-one, as we're getting just fireball spam. But that's all right, because now that we have a one-on-one, the fight is as good as done. We get 1 running charge attack there. We actually dodge to his jump attack and gets another. And now he's close to second phase. We'll dodge this last one, gets another hit here. And as he is going into his transition, we will get 1 more final hit. We see the bell. We know he is stuck in an animation, and we can punish this boss with another hit, finishing him off and keeping it on a one-on-one fight. Now that we have the range one back, ideally we want to bait out his fireballs and his slam attacks. When he's in this AoE, we're going to have a bad time. So this is another attack we're able to come and punish, but we do want to stay at full health as much as possible. There's the slam. We get a quick punish off there. As he transitions to second phase, we know he's not going to be able to summon his friend. So we can get behind the pillar, let him do his thing, wait until his attack is done. And then when it is, we're able to start punishing the boss yet again. So during this sequence, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, hey, we're ready for his bell attack. It's going to come off soon. Unless you can proc this right here, we get an easy additional special attack. We do get hit with the hyper beam, but these slam attacks cause great windows to punish. As you see there, we're able to get him down to 1 shot, trigger another slam, and in the Godskin Duo fight. Overall difficulty rating, only a 5 on 10. Now let's head up to Malkeith. So with Malkeith, there are some windows of opportunity in first phase, such as when he does his slam attacks there. When we do that, we can hit him with 1, sometimes 2 attacks. So right here, we get the 1. And when he does another slam, we can dodge through it, punish it here. When he does his slam that hits the parts of the ground into the air, we want to run away from there. And we had a couple deaths earlier on, because when he did that, we tried to punish him like we normally do, but this weapon just doesn't quite do the damage or the blood proc stagger build up in order to do that. Base 45 bleed is nice, but just not enough to consistently get those blood procs. The weapon class, the backhand blade, is not so good for staggers. And so due to that, it just isn't worth, when he slams the ground and hits the piece of the ground into the air, it's not really worth trying to punish that. Just get out of there and live to fight another day, as we do here, and trigger second phase. When second phase starts, 2 steps to the right, 3 steps back, dodge to the horizontal sweep, and then starts wailing on the boss here. We're able to get 1, 2, 3, 4 light attacks off as he runs away from us, and we follow him up here. He's got another melee, letting us again starts wailing on him. You see kind of the animation of, as we barely get caught in there, the animation of the attack whenever you do the roll with the follow-up. It's not quite enough to hit him, because Malkeith's hitbox is a bit weird. So if you can avoid that roll attack, which you can do by pausing for a split second, then you definitely want to pause for a split second and get off those normal light attacks so you're able to hit him without too much trouble. This weapon class, like a lot of the shorter weapon classes, can cause some hitbox issues. So right here, we do manage to barely clip his knee with that roll attack. But again, for future reference, I would recommend, if you can avoid it, then do avoid it. He goes a slam attack, but I think right here it's going to be a little too late. The Bleed proc is coming. His melee attacks aren't going to save him here. We're going to chase him down as he runs away like a coward. Right over here should proc another horizontal slash. We're able to follow it up with another consecutive hit, finishing off Malkeith. He did get us a couple times, and it definitely was a bit tricky with the short range of the weapon. The difficulty of Malkeith ended up being a 6-on-10 with the Curseblade Circus. Let's head to the Ashen Capital and see how it does against the late game bosses. We all know when it comes to Gideon, if you can't take him down in the very first attempt, then you're going to have a bad time. When you first enter Gideon's arena, he's going to be speaking as Japanese to you. Charge him up, and this is an excellent time to break out that Ash of War we haven't used in a while. You see the big follow-up there. His roll will carry him out of distance. He'll get a double roll, but we're going to keep spamming it, and now you see he is all the way up against the wall. So now when we hit him out of his Hyper Beam attack, he is able to get a blood proc, and he is now below half health. So even if he does his AoE, so we can't keep spamming him, we're able to close the distance again, get him stuck between a hard place and a rock, as he is right here. He's not going to be able to get away because the Cirque blades, the cursed Cirque blades, these backhand blades, whatever you want to call them, they do an excellent job at applying pressure when enemies are rolling away, both with the dash attacks, the light attacks, and the Ash of War. As you can see, we utilize all of them there to take out Gideon before he gets a chance to get going. The difficulty ended up being a 2-on-10. Let's head upstairs to check out Godfrey. Now, the Ghost of Godfrey gave us trouble, so I was kind of worried about this boss, but as you can see, due to the animation, this is our first attempt at him, and we learned from our mistakes in that boss fight. What we learned was, hey, we want to roll into him, hit him with our roll attacks, hit him with our light attacks, just punish a little bit at a time. Don't get greedy, don't try to hit the Ash of War. Dodge through his attacks here and here, behind him on the punish, unless you need to recover your stamina, such as what we did right there. So with our stamina recovered, we're able to dodge through his swing and axe attack. It's going to be a three-parter. We get through it, we proc up our heals to full, we jump over his stomp attack, dodge to the punish, and now we are right back to punishing with light attacks and roll attacks of our own. Whenever he runs away from you and stomps, it is a good opportunity to jump over the stomp, hit him with a jump attack as you're dodging the stomp, dodge to the punish, and then hit him with these light attacks. And when he gets to his rising foot animation, wail on him with light attacks, and you are going to get an easy phase 2. So when phase 2 starts, we know this weasel is going to be charging us down. We want to roll to the grab here. And as soon as we are, we're going to try to get him with a heavy attack. We're able to get the fully charged, start wailing here, another stomp, and he's actually very close to his double slam animation, and we proc it right here. We're able to get off a couple more attacks. He's very low health now, 2 slams, and we should be able to finish off Horaloo before he gets a chance to get going. The Curseblade, backhanded blades, Curseblade circus weapons were absolutely amazing here against Godfrey using this build. It really trivialized him, being able to proc him with the bleeds and his additional vulnerability windows that he has in this fight compared to his ghost form. Because of that, the difficulty rating was only a 1-on-10, as he only got 1 hit off on us the entire fight in phase 1. Let's head upstairs to 2 bosses that don't bleed, Radagon and the Elden Beast, and see if this weapon can continue the upward momentum. For the Rada Beast fights, you want to enter the arena, and right before you do, pop your Psychic Flask, because at the start of the fight, we're going to be able to get some free hits in on Radagon and start increasing our damage with those consecutive hit talismans and the Thorny Cracked Tear. So right from the back, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we do get the animation where he's going to use one of his charged holy attacks, letting us get 2 more hits there. Slightly aggressive, getting me into the window of opportunity. So we did get a little bit of a hit. We're going to heal 2 full to keep that Ritual Sword talisman activated, and we do get chipped again, but that's more poor gameplay on my end and not as bad with, the weapon not performing well. The weapon's actually performing grand. When he does a stomp attack, we jump over it, punish with a jump in midair, and we dodge to Radagon's slam and able to get another several attacks off. He is going to get a little bit of a chain up, but we know he is about to do his triple ground slam. Here it comes now. He's going to slit the ground once. He's going to slit the ground twice. We'll get 1 punish with a fully charged heavy, and then as he's hitting it that 3rd time, we'll dodge to it. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're able to get off 3 light attacks, 6 attacks total. We do take a bit of damage, but at this point, it's too little too late for the Elden Lord. He's going to go down to our multiple hit attacks, and we are now ready for the Elden Beast. Despite Radagon not bleeding, our consecutive hits and this strategy allowed us to take him out His difficulty was only a 2 on 10 as he only got off a single attack against us. And now we are on to the Elden Beast. The Elden Beast's first move is always the Fire Blast, so we're going to take this opportunity to run behind him and start wailing on him and start building up the damage with those consecutive hits from Millicent's Prostate, the Rotmain Sigma, and the Thorny Cracked Tear. And you see that Demolition Devastation takes away 1/3 of the Beast health right from the start, which will proc his Ring Around the Rosie. When he does go up into the air, we do a 180-degree turn ourselves, running straight before us. We'll jump over the ring, and we have full confidence knowing the Elden Beast is going to pop off right in front of us like he does here. We do get some RNG in our favor as he goes into his melee attack as opposed to one of the holy attacks, which take a bit of time. And now we get a chance to wail on him with a little bit of these attacks here. We're able to get in some heavy attacks, some light attacks as he starts his Elden Star attack. When he's doing that, he is going to run away like a coward. He might get off one slam, but really and truly, that's the only time this fight was in danger as we're able to get away from the explosion, hop on our horse here, and we know that the triple Ring Around the Rosie is coming, and we want to damage him up while the Elden Star is attacking us before he gets a chance to get that going. So from here on out, we see he does do some of his delayed explosion attacks. We see the fully charged holy attack, and we dodge through that, and we're going to be able to get behind him and start punishing him, quickly building up our consecutive hits as we trigger a melee attack. We're going to dodge through it once, we're going to dodge through it twice, we're going to dodge through the body slam, and here we are right back in full effect to punish with these melee attacks. He is definitely in range for his triple Ring Around the Rosie, but because we were right on top of him and instead triggered yet another melee sequence, this is going to be enough to finish off the Beast before he even gets a chance to do his Ring Around the Rosie attack. The difficulty setting with the Curseblade Circus was only a 2 on 10 with the Elden Beast. Now that we've gone over how the weapon performs against the 14 required bosses, let's break down where the weapon lands in our tier list now. The overall difficulty rating on average on a scale of 1 to 10 against all 14 required bosses to become the Elden Lord using the Curseblade Circus ends up coming in at a 3.91 out of 10, making the weapon an overall alright choice to become the Elden Lord. Part of where this weapon falls off is its biggest ability is also its biggest weakness. The Ash of War is great and allows you to get off a ton of consecutive hits, proccing bleed, and your consecutive hit talismans. However, the lack of hyper armor is really feeling against some of these boss fights like the Godskin Duo, Godfrey, etc. It would be really nice to get off these hits. No hyper armor and getting immediately knocked back leaves this weapon a little bit less than desirable. Other weapons can be infused, other backblades can be infused with different Ashes of War. This one, you are stuck with that, meaning you are also stuck with this affinity as well. Although it does have bleed, 45 isn't a very significant build-up compared to what you can do with an affinity in the other backhand blades. And for that reason, the Circus Curse Blades for a in-game playthrough to become the Elden Lord ends up coming in at just an average weapon overall, ahead of the Dry Leaves, ahead of the Spears, and surprisingly below the Scorpion Stinger, which I personally did not see coming when I first found out we were doing this weapon. But enough about what I think. I want to know what you think. Do you agree or disagree with our assessment of the Curseblade Circus? Do you tier the Curseblade Circus higher than average? Is it an S tier weapon if done correctly? If that is the case, let me know in the comments below. What adjustments would you make on the build? What windows would you personally target when doing the bosses? Follow for all things Elden Ring. And until next time, fellow Tarnished, stay maidenless.